Hello again, YouTube. I'm back with a new album, plus some more of my books as well. Uh, Today, my latest purchase is Rings of Earthly Delight by Eris Pluvia, an Italian band. Um, who are the? Um, Wait a minute. Let me include another project that came from this. I'll be right back. It's quick. Okay, this is actually their first album since they would release second one a century later, pretty much. The main members are Alessandro Sei, a voice, electric and acoustic guitars and flute, Paolo Raciti. Let me say that again. That came out wrong. Paolo Raciti, piano and keyboards, Edmondo Romano, recorder, flute, saxophone, and backing vocals. Marco Corella, bass and acoustic guitar, and Martino Murtas, drums and percussion, along with guest musicians Valeria Cauchino, Enrico Paparella, Alessandro Capotorti, and Sabrina Quarelli. This album consists of the epic uh, the epic Rings of Earthly epic title track, epic, and with several shorter songs, shorter compositions, very soft and very folk influence, combination of a progressive rock. This is symphonic progressive rock with folk and jazz touches, and here how later after the Eris Pluvia disbanded first time, Alessandro Seri and Mondo Romano created the project Ancient Veil. It includes both Alessandro Seri and Edmondo Romano with fun with guests. Well, actually, this is actually the new version of this album, released on Lizard Records in Eden. Well, actually, it's actually released on Mellow Records in 1995, issued 2018 on Open Mind. As I said, it both features Alessandro Seri, Edmondo Romano, along with guests Fabio Seri, Marco Fada, Massimo Tarozzi, Gianni Serino, Pino Parello, Alessio Menconi, Alberto Malnati, Antonella Giovato, Sergio Grazia, and Massimo Pisano, Osvaldo Lori, Roberto Mazzola, Sardiano, Alessandro Sacco, Stefano Cabrera, Cinzia Nucera, Marco Muscarella, Cirio Restani, and Claudio Villa. Much more folk going. This one actually leans. It's pretty similar in many ways to Eris Pluvia. Yeah, in terms of sound, symphonic progressive rock with jazz and folk touches as well. So, and those are it. Now on to my jazz rock. The books, some more books I have, mostly on jazz rock, or fusion as it oftentimes called. And the first one is A Brief History of Jazz Rock by Mike Barron. And this primarily focuses on bands like Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, including some lesser known acts, some acts like The Electric Flag, The Flock, Sea Train, Sons of Chaplin, and several others. It's not a terribly long book. Not a terribly long book, about 151 pages long. Um, pretty much a good introduction to the subgenre if you're not familiar with it. Oh well, more technical side with the I'm flummoxing. Okay, maybe it is. Jazz rock flourished from 1968 to 1974, offering a distinctively cool and innovative hybrid sound that captivated a generation and beyond. Superstar bands like Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Chicago have earned their place in popular consciousness, but the movement included many other powerful, innovative groups such as Tower of Power and Marlowe. Author Mike Barron explores the history of this music from fusion, its rise and fall in popularity. Others highlights and is also unique insights from the front row seat in jazz rock into what made the era so special. A Brief History of Jazz Rock is a sax meets strat Bible that dares to inspire a renaissance, to cultivate a new generation of musicians who might mix brass with bass, and help return forgotten bands like If and Dreams to their place on the main stage. Okay, that's pretty much the summary. This next one is a much larger. This is a jazz rock, a history, written by Stuart Nicholson. Some who, and with an introduction by Bill Laswell. And this one focuses on the broader spectrum of jazz rock and fusion, like Weather Report, Mahavishnu Orchestra, and many others. It even includes a very big discography of albums, mostly based around the chapters in this book. And here's an excerpt from this book. At 8 a.m. on August 18th, 1969, Jimi Hendrix closed the Woodstock Festival with a masterful deconstruction of the Star-Spangled Banner. The moment of the Woodstock Festival and the subsequent film performed at a moment of unprecedented social and cultural upheaval being enacted out against the backdrop of the Vietnam War and black militancy. It was a performance that subsequently took on an almost supernatural dimensions and remains one of the landmark recordings of rock. Sorry about that. The following day in New York, Miles Davis was in the recording studios to start work on Bitches Brew, a recording that would have equal resonance in the world of jazz. Sleep Note writer Ralph J. Gleason called it electric music, but this was electric music that had Hendrix's influences hovering over it, marking the beginning of Davis's odyssey into the vortex of the guitar's electronic imagery. Davis Davis recorded Bitches Brew, driven by a mixture of pressure from Clive Davis. Clive felt I wasn't making enough money for the company, and pride. I wasn't prepared to be a memory. In the past, Miles had proved time and again, that where he led, others followed. So when Bitches Brew was released in the spring of 1970, the portents were clear. Jazz rock represented the way ahead because Miles Davis said so. For at least 2 years prior to Bitches Brew, jazz rock had been bubbling beneath the surface, but the style needed someone of sufficient stature to sanction the dawn of the new era. Just as Joe King Oliver, Louis Armstrong, Benny Goodman, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, and Ornette Coleman have become to sonify specific areas in jazz history, so Miles Davis will come to signify the era of jazz rock fusion. Consequently, Davis would be credited with inventing the genre, and thanks to his standing within the jazz world, he would also be acknowledged as establishing the new music's legitimacy. So that's a little tidbit from that book. And last but not least, Kevin Velez's Birds of Fire, Jazz, Rock, and Funk, the Creation of Fusion. Now in his book, much of his focus are on some of the major players of the fusion genre. Some like McLaughlin, Mitchell, and Hancock. Williams. Let me go over that again. John McLaughlin of Mahavishnu Orchestra, Joni Mitchell, and Herbie Hancock, and Tony Williams. This is what it says in the back. Birds of Fire brings overdue critical attention to fusion, musical idiom that emerged as young musicians blended elements of jazz, rock, and funk in the late 1960s and 1970s. At the time, fusion was despised by jazz writers and ignored by rock critics. Years since it has come to be seen as commercially driven jazz substyle. Fusion never did coalesce into a genre. Birds of Fire, Kevin Velez contends that hybridity was its reason for being. By mixing different musical and cultural traditions, fusion artists sought to disrupt generic boundaries, cultural hierarchies, and critical assumptions. Interpreting the work of four distinctive fusion artists, Tony Williams, John McLaughlin, Joni Mitchell, and Herbie Hancock, Velez highlights the ways that they challenged the convention in the 1960s and 1970s. He also considers the extent to which a musician can be taken seriously as an artist across divergent musical traditions. Birds of Fire concludes with a look at the current activities of McLaughlin, Mitchell, and Hancock. Hancock, Williams' five recordings, and the legacy of the fusion music made by these four pioneering artists. There's my video for today. I'll be seeing you sometime soon. I'll leave a link to my last video. So, good day.